I'm flying in here from other things that I've been running this afternoon. We've got meetings in the afternoon, but I just feel like I need to say this specifically to our guys here in Central Texas. And then I don't know where I might sling this, but maybe you'll get something out of this too. So a good guy, a young Christian husband, father guy, he sits down next to me. He's dealing with his marriage. I don't know, he's got like a kid acting out. He needs a new job. I don't know. I always ask him one thing: what are you doing about it? And that might sound like a callous sort of question to ask, but usually he's stunned. And he's going to say things like, well, my wife and I are exploring this and they're exploring that. And, you know, I've got my resume out, or she's getting counseling or whatever. And we're praying about this, that, and the other. Okay, I usually say, okay, that's great, that's fine, but that might not be enough. What are you doing about it? See, you can't expect that your household is going to be great, or your work or your church is going to be great, unless you're prepared to work and fight and truly contend for your little world in prayer. Okay? Now, truly, your heart is objective one. If your heart goes bad, if you go rogue, your people are going to suffer. Your world will collapse, and there won't be anything but debris on the backside of all of that. There is a fantastic verse in Proverbs 4:23. It says, guard or / keep watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Or another translation says, all the issues of life. So this heart, this is the thing that has to have the most attention, actually. The truth is this, that the greatest assets and the greatest threat to your people is probably you. And that's a sobering thought. I think about that sometimes, that nobody's a greater threat to my marriage than me. Nobody's a greater threat to my household or my business than me. All the stuff that flows out of your life flows from either a clean, thumping, joyful heart, or it gets contaminated and compromised and goes bust because of your influence. And that's sobering when you pair that thought with Jeremiah 17, which says that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? Of course, the next verse, God says, I alone search the heart. Now, I bring up this thought here because I have seen so many men self-immolate. You know that picture of that Buddhist monk who sets himself on fire? I've seen that absolutely blow themselves up and their worlds apart over the last 30 years. My uncle did, family guy, wildly successful guy, a deacon, elder at a big church, taught Sunday school for decades, and then just ball of flame and fire. Infidelity, a divorce, kids all torn up. There are many such stories that I can point to. You know, we've been doing ministry things for 30 years. In business, we've seen it. I can point to stories to families, businesses, ministries, small communities, all shredded. And we live in 2025 in a bananas world. And more is on our plate than ever. More forces move against our sons and daughters than ever before. What streams on Wi-Fi is more wicked than ever before. And if the trend line stays as it is, it's not going to trend better. And so you and I, we have to watch over old Tricky, this heart of ours, you know, this deceitful old tricky heart of ours. You aren't going to get authority over outside variables like your wife, children, business, ministry, demons, whatever it is, until you learn to govern your own heart and bring it into submission and obedience. Full stop. That's the battle line. You are the fight. We say that around here. You are the fight. So, what kind of fight is it? Is it a gun fight, a knife fight, a fist fight? Is it a brain fight of argumentation? No, it's a spiritual fight. And how do you do that? You do that with prayer. And how do you discipline your soul and create some governing order? Prayer. I'm going to tell you that I think it happens daily, and then I think it happens on a weekly rhythm. The daily hour. Prayer and scripture reading, it's your duty station. Think of it that way. It's a way to man a station and just show up every day. It's a micro act of discipline and obedience. The king knows where to find you. If you man a duty station, he knows where to find you. The second part of this is a men's weekly prayer hour. Every week, same spot, same time, 1 hour. Start on the nose, end exactly 1 hour later. Someone asked Martin Luther one time what his plans were for the next day, and he famously responded, "Work, work, work, from morning until late at night. In fact, I have so much to do that I shall have to spend the first 3 hours in prayer." So he understood a truth that we've lost completely today, which is the busier we are, the more we shoulder, the more responsibility we feel, that demands more prayer. So when a guy says to me, "I can't possibly find an hour in a day to spend in prayer," okay, or the scriptures, I simply never really believe him. I just don't believe him. We're all very busy. We are more distracted, more weary, more addled in our minds than ever. The screens, the alerts, the emails, etc. I know, the soccer practices and school drop-offs and out-of-town trips, we all have a crap ton going on. But I also know what the research tells us. We fill our time with frivolities and scrolling and SEC football and podcast, and there is time. There is time. If you can physically do a workout every day, and most guys do, then see, we make time for what we prioritize. If we binge watch series, there's time. We simply don't make the time, and our people are the ones that do the suffering. That's the truth. As to praying with other men, we're entering our 6th year of doing this every Sunday night, every week in Central Texas. I've been a part of tons of prayer meetings over the last 30 years, all kinds of models and emphases and zeal, and they almost always fail over time for one gigantic reason. They equate prayer with passion. It's always framed about your love of the Lord and prayer and your love of the church and your love of people and the passion and the zeal. And that's how they think about a prayer meeting. Prayer is powered by zeal in these situations, and you can tell by their words. They use phrases like burning, boiler rooms, zeal for your house has consumed me, said King David. Fired up, that guy's on fire, that guy brings the heat. They can say all these sorts of things. And I want to tell you, this model fails because you're always having to sling more coal into the furnace. And it was a good or a bad prayer session based on excitement and fervor and whether you were feeling it. And the truth is that Acts chapter 2 kind of blew the windows out, and the tongues of fire came, and every prayer service ever since is paled by comparison. And that's what we're constantly trying to sort of recreate. The truth is that prayer is work. We bring a sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord. It is costly. It is sacrificial. Prayer work doesn't always pop and sizzle. That doesn't mean that the prayers are ineffective. You just need to shift your thinking and consider how exciting and extraordinary a tree planted by a stream of water appears to the bystander. I'm referencing, of course, Psalm 1:3. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all he does, he prospers. You're just keeping your roots hydrated. Prayer does that. The scriptures do that. So manning your duty station and praying with other men needs a new lens. You are practicing laboring in faithfulness. This is diligence. This is a kind of labor. You've heard of people laboring in prayer. You've heard that phrase? That's what we're talking about. And nobody can do your work for you. In 2020, I had the honor, it was a sad honor, to see about a half dozen old men, old fathers in the Lord, pass away. COVID, 2 from cancer, so many funerals. I kept noticing something important, though, something common to all of them. All these men, all of them had accomplished so much in the kingdom and raised great faithful families and invested well wherever they went. And they had some spot, some location that was their prayer, their scripture spot, and they all prayed with other men regularly. They were doing the thing I'm explaining to you. And there was huge fruit and huge reward on the backside of this life that had a massive blast radius. They knew how to work, and that work was where they won their fights. So the daily hour, and then the one time a week with other men. You see, when my heart rebels, it only gets 24 hours before I'm back sitting before God and repenting. That means this heart is on a short leash. Beyond that, I might go rogue for like 5 or 6 days, but then showing up to pray with other men means I'm back to repenting and asking for prayer from other men. It's hard to get too far off into the weeds with this kind of a pattern. A zeal passion mentality fails. 100% of those meetings that I've seen fail over time. They can't endure. But an obedience, sacrifice, work, and fight duty mentality, that wins over a long horizon. It could glitch a little bit from time to time, especially in the first year, but once it's an established pattern, it can go. It can roll like a locomotive. Discipline eventually results in the zeal and the passion, but if you start there, it wanes and collapses. You and your men, even if it's just 2 other guys, just grab 2 other guys and start. You're going to have to act with purpose and remind one another. We're men under command. We train together. We practice this lifestyle as a way we worship the King. He is worthy of it. Of my daily hour and my time driving across the city to do prayer work with other men. And when a guy says, I just can't swing it, it's too much. I can't pray, read scripture for 1 hour, it's just too much. I remind him that all his people need this from him, and that it trains a heart into a pattern. It isn't easy at first, but it is good. It yields fruit in its season and will sustain you so you don't wither. There's so much withering around us, you might have noticed. I'm reminded too of the disciples in the garden with Jesus. And when he returns to them and finds them sleeping, he says, I asked you to stand, watch, and pray for an hour. You could not do it for an hour. And that's that important sort of pairing, is that there's a watching and manning a duty station and the prayer. And remember, as we know, right, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I also want to tell you that 100 years ago, men did this all the time. This was completely normal. Men sat on porches and prayed and read Psalms or 1 Timothy every day with their coffee, every day like the sunrise. Men never missed a Thursday night prayer. Like for 22 years, old Bill never missed one. And then he had knee surgery and he missed because of the knee surgery. But then the next week he was back in a wheelchair because he was automatic. That's what we're striving for. That's what we're aiming for. We used to have automatic men. And so I'm going to give you 10 practicals, 10 things we've learned in the 5 years of doing this. 1, having a few mantras really helps. One of the things that we say is always resisted, never regretted. There is always something that my heart resists before I get in the car and drive over to meet in prayer. It's late on a Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock, we've had a weekend, I'm not looking forward to the big week ahead, and I get it. It is always resisted, and it's true that when we leave and click the lights off, it is never regretted. We know that we did a good hour. We talk about being automatic. Just be automatic. We have another phrase. If you can stand up, then show up. If you're in this town, that is, you're not on a trip somewhere, if you're in this town and you can stand up, then show up. So there are times where I check myself and go, can I stand up? Then I'm going to show up. We also have a phrase, it's time to work. So at 8 o'clock on the nose, we say, it's time to work. And we start the prayer time. That was point 1. Number 2, it helps to talk about it like this. This is good. This is the right work. My people need me. That's good thinking. 3, it kind of pains a man to know that he's not at a prayer meeting when other men are doing his work, praying for his family. And it should pinch a little bit to think that. My guys are praying. Why am I not with my guys? I just didn't want to go. And they're probably praying for me and for my family. That's my work. 4, the more guys, the better. The more guys, the better the hour. It spreads around the praying. That's good. We just kind of do popcorn praying just as you feel led. 5, this is how we break it up. We break it into 3 chunks. The first 15 minutes, Thanksgiving. Just thanking God. for all kinds of things, our health, for coffee, for answered prayer, whatever. 15 minutes of exalting his name, direct worship of God, and 30 minutes of intercession, asking God for our request, committing our people, our businesses, our churches, our town and state and nation and politicians to God, and asking that he pour out wisdom. And the reason we get this model, I didn't come up with it. The guy that told me about it, he didn't come up with it either. It's from the Bible. It is, I will enter his gates with thanksgiving. There's your thanksgiving. And his courts with praise. There's your praise. And those are the humbling postures that prepare your heart to begin to intercede for other people and petition God. It kind of gets you right before you get in and start making a request. 6th point, remind guys, this isn't about earning style points with God. This isn't about striving hard or being legalistic. This is about setting up rhythms and not bouncing when it gets hard. And by the way, it's going to get hard. Number 7, you might need to set up daily check-ins to spur one another on to faith and good works. A text, hey guy, where are you, is needed every once in a while. He might say, I'm laying maimed and bleeding in a ditch. Great, I can come help you. No, not at a ditch, just didn't want to show. Okay, weird call. 8, it might help to offer a pregame. We open up the space an hour before prayer, so anyone who wants to come hang out can do that before prayer. Prayer time is not chill and chat time. Adding a little fun helps guys show up ready to work. It just does. Number 9, your wife is going to be thrilled about all this. She's going to see you sacrificing time on the daily in discipline, and she will soon see the fruit of her husband in prayer with other men. It changes things, and it will change you. It cycles crud out and corrosion out. It cycles life into your system. It just does. 10, give it 2 months. That's right, 8 weeks. Don't miss the daily hour. Duty station at home. Do it 8 weeks. Don't miss weekly prayer meetings with other men. Inside 8 weeks, you're going to feel the difference. You're going to notice. It will take getting used to, but you'll wonder how you ever made it without it. So, I'll end with one other tag-on encouragement and admonition that's kind of tangential to the stuff I've been talking about. Just the other day, my wife and I counted up 9 families, not in our immediate orbit, not in our community, but 9 exterior families that are not actively involved or deeply rooted in a local church. And these are families that know better. These are men who know what the scriptures say about not forsaking the assembling of yourselves together, but the pressures and modes and trinkets of this world have knocked them off track on this issue. So if nobody's going to say it, I will. Get yourself and your family back in, deeply enmeshed in a local church with men who are worth something. It's not going to be perfect or comfortable or even ideal. There may be little things that you go, yeah, I kind of see this different. I have a different stance, whatever. It doesn't matter. Get yourself connected to and latch yourself into other men. You are not going to make it if you don't. We're really at that point. You're not going to make it if you don't. There are big storms inbound, and do what you can right now to get yourself and your people ready. That's sort of the end of my little rant here. But reach out, make contact. There's some sort of contact wherever I place this. But this is a reminder to our guys about why we do what we do. It's a reminder as we move ourselves out of 2025 and into 26 about what is it that I do on a daily or a weekly rhythm and a routine. What is it that actually will produce fruit and will be a good yield for our people going forward. So I hope this was an encouragement to you. It's a weight off my chest that I actually said the thing that I've been meaning to say for a long time. So you are the fight. Take care.